Welcome. We're talking about Blue Star's results this morning. A good quarter, actually. Revenues up about 25%, EBITDA at close to 35% at 209 crores, a tad above estimates as well. Margins at 7.5% and net profits up 32%. The stock seeing a bit of pressure at this point, however. Veer S. Advani, Chairman and Managing Director, Blue Star, with us on the show right now. Mr. Advani, thank you so much for joining us on NDTV Profit. Let's get your take of going through this quarter, and where do you think market share has ended specifically in a quarter which gets some buoyancy because of festive season, etc.?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. So at a company level, we grew 25% in revenue, and EBITDA grew actually 35%. So we had a good quarter. Margins have improved as well, largely on account of scale. And of course, our operating expenses also have been under control. You asked about the room air conditioner business, I presume, in the market share and festive season. So I'll take that first. The festive season was a strong season for us, and December was a strong month as pre-buying going into the summer was also strong. The industry itself has done well. Blue Star has done slightly better than the industry on account of some of the measures we've taken in backward integration and getting our product portfolio rejig done. So overall, for the quarter, on a standalone basis, our room air conditioner market share improved to 14%. On a full year basis, of course, it will not be 14, but we are very happy to see that for the first time, we've touched that 14% mark, even if it's only for a quarter.
Mr. Advani, let me just come, and you spoke about the room air conditioning segment, and yes, that your market share has improved there. Give me a sense of what is happening in the commercial air conditioning segment as well. You've talked about liquidity challenges and delays in order finalizations. Can you expand on that?
Sure. So, our segment one is actually made up of two very different businesses. We have our projects business, our MEP projects business, and then we have the commercial air conditioning equipment business. I'm happy to say that, these are both B2B businesses, as you rightly pointed out. Demand has been relatively good. Our execution actually has been very good. So really the quarter is about very good execution on our part, both in order inflow as well as in billing and execution. On the equipment side, we have seen some challenges around customers' liquidity. So while order inflow has been good, we have been controlling some of the supplies because we want to make sure that we're managing our working capital well as well. We're seeing a little bit of easing in liquidity as well as in, overall on the B2B side, it had slowed down in the first half, largely on account of the central government elections. That has begun to ease out, and we're quite hopeful that Q4 should be a return to growth as far as segment one execution is concerned as well.
Mr. Advani, good morning. Neeraj here. The belief always would be that Q1 of a financial year, because of the seasonality impact, will be very strong. I dare say summer seems to have come in early, at least in Mumbai and some of the other regions that I've gone to. Are you sensing a decent Q4 as well? And I'm asking this because not quite clued in on the quantum of inventory build up in the channel versus the demand existing. So it would be lovely to have your thoughts there.
Sure. So, of course, you're aware that the summer season that we have just gone through last year was an excellent season. So both Q4 of last year and Q1 of last year were very strong for the industry. We had supply challenges in Q1, as we had explained. We had not planned for that kind of demand. So our business got impacted in Q1, but the industry did very well. We're expecting a reasonably good Q4 coming into this year. Of course, like you said, summer may have set in early. We're unsure right now. We can never predict the weather, of course, but early signs are good. Of course, compared to last year, we should see demand growth. We are expecting 20 to 25%. We're expecting Blue Star to do slightly better than the market demand. So we're fairly optimistic about the outlook for this coming season. Of course, Q4 versus Q1 really depends on when that summer sets in. It could be in March or April, just depends on how things unfold. But as a season goes, as a summer season goes, we're fairly optimistic about the outlook for the industry. Of course, consumer products and consumer goods demand has been lower than last year. I will tell you that it's the same in air conditioning as well. It is not that air conditioning has been sort of excluded from the overall reduction in demand, but on an absolute basis, even at a reduced level, growth rate should be very good for our industry. We're expecting at least 20%.
Okay. The other thing is how has been cost inflation? Because again, the jury's is out there. So how has it been for you? And what's your sense about how do input cost pressures weigh in on the near term? I'm guessing predicting 12 months out is almost futile in such a volatile environment, but maybe the near term?
So, there's so many moving parts here on cost. I'll first talk about, our margins and how we manage our margins. It's really through driving economies of scale. So as we scale up our in-house manufacturing backward integration, we get a benefit from scale. So that's on that side. But having said that, input cost pressure is mounting. You've seen the rupee moving, and now with the RBI, I don't know whether they've stopped defending the rupee or whether they've just reduced the defense. We expect that depreciation will move a little faster. So that's a big impact on our industry because you know that we're a net importer, although we have been localizing a lot. So between the INR dollar, as well as overall, copper, steel, there's now talk about steel industry looking to impose some import duties. We'll see if anything comes in the upcoming budget. So we have to watch that. And then there's the entire other angle of the US and Trump and what the US will do vis-a-vis China and India. While we don't import a lot from the US, but once the US decides what they're doing with their tariffs, I think we may see some consequences on this side of the world. So it's a little early to comment on that. I know we'll know more in the next 4 weeks, but the INR dollar, is a concern for us, and that will put pressure on input cost.
Since you mentioned the budget, Mr. Advani, and you'll wait and see what happens there, what would you hope to see from the budget? What would help the sector, the industry, and would boosting consumption be a big focus?
So there are two things that drive our business, as you know. In our segment one, which is our B2B business, we really need public capex to come back at the level that it was before the elections. So we're very hopeful that there may be some push by the government to move a lot of that capex along. So that's one ask or request or hope that we have. The other one is on the B2C part. Our segment 2 business, as you know, is all consumption driven. Anything that can put more money in the hands of our consumers will be a big help for us. I think that's the only two things we need. We're a very regulated industry. There's a lot of push from the government for improving energy efficiency and decarbonization. We are making large investments in R&D, in supply chain, in manufacturing to support that goal of the government. So all we really need is consumers to get some more money in hand so that many more can come out and buy air conditioners.
Just going back to some of the things that have come out of the results as well is the flow coming in from e-commerce. And I just want to get your sense whether you're seeing that in consumption patterns as well. Typically, the products that you sell, one wouldn't think that it's something that people want to buy from a website or an app. People want to come to the store. Just would be interested in seeing what your observations have been.
So, e-commerce has been, we've been an active player in e-commerce. Our category has been active in e-commerce now for the last 4 to 5 years. Really post-COVID is when it picked up. Frankly, we had expected a much faster move to e-commerce. It seems to have got stuck at a particular level. I think that it is partially, like you said, we're really selling to first-time buyers in tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 markets. Of course, e-commerce is active there and is an alternative channel, but we feel that those consumers prefer to go into physical stores. I think the physical channels have responded quite, actively to e-commerce and have upped their game. And so the e-commerce seems to have got stuck at that 10-12% level. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean that it's not going to change. What will happen, I think, is with this quick commerce coming into play, while I don't think anyone's expecting an air conditioner to be delivered in 10 minutes, but quick commerce will push the industry and will, of course, and consumers will expect delivery of something they buy within 2 or 3 hours. So I don't call it, it is quick commerce in, relative to what we do. Today we do a next day delivery and installation. I think they'll expect a 2 or 3 hour delivery and a same day installation. That's going to put a lot of pressure on the industry and on companies like us to fulfill that customer expectation. So I think that is where the industry will go. And we should see e-commerce share trending up, but we're not expecting it to become the largest channel or really disrupt the entire distribution of our industry.
No, so that's interesting. So I'll do a follow-up on that, Mr. Advani. And yeah, I mean, that would be the day, an air conditioner delivered in 10 minutes. But frankly, 2 hours and installation same day would also be great. Because, sometimes just coordinating when the guy will come and, when you can get time becomes difficult. What does it mean for you cost-wise if you have to deliver to those expectations which you say you see coming?
Yeah, so that is the million-dollar question. We are working through that. As you know, quick commerce is very new. So we're working through it. It's a little early for us to comment. There will be an increase in cost, of course, but customers are getting more attuned to same day. So we will put in place some infrastructure in the coming season. We will probably experiment in 1 or 2 markets to see how we can meet that expectation before we roll out anything. So this is all brand new, but an opportunity, I think, for the industry to perform and meet our customers' expectations.
Of course. Meanwhile, a healthy quarter for Blue Star and an edge there in market share, which is what I think is something that the street will watch, whether that persists. Thank you so much, Mr. Advani, for speaking with us on NDTV Profit today. But let's turn our